Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So I wanted to do this video to inspire people, specifically women, on how to find love outside of relationships. So to some degree, you have to find some form of self-love or fulfillment within yourself that does not come from another person fulfilling who you are. At this stage of my development in life, obviously that love will best come from God because God's love is unconditional, but I understand that people who are watching this are not necessarily on a spiritual path, or they might not have some of the same similar outlooks in life as I do, or they might be really logical and still going through these questioning stages of believing in God, if that even exists for them. So I'm understanding, but here's the thing. I think people today, especially in the dating world, they need mentors. And I feel like women, especially younger women, need a mentor as well. So me now being 34 years old, I've been through a lot in my life. I've seen a lot in the world. And so a lot of what I'm trying to say is trying to inspire people, especially younger women, if you're in college, to find yourself and to cope your emotions, walking away from things that don't serve you. If you can spiritually start to develop yourself in your 20s the way I did, you will be set up so well in your 30s. And especially if you start to cut out a lot of the junk in your life. I'm not just talking like junk food. I'm talking about having sex with people outside of some form of I don't believe in promiscuity. The whole sex before marriage thing is a different topic, but I don't believe in sleeping around with random people. Watching how much alcohol you take in, are you doing drugs, things like that. You have to be able to walk away from the junk in order to fulfill yourself with some form of self-love. Now, everybody has a different thought about self-love. Some say it's really selfish, but I just think if you want to have mature, true love and things like that in your life, you have to clean yourself up and you have to walk away from the garbage, no matter how tempting and beautiful and wonderful it is on the outside. So if you watched my former video on kind of like my Finding Om passage on perseverance, this video is going to pick up to the exact same paragraph as we left off. So I'm just going to read a passage from my book, Finding Om. And this is going to just share some thoughts or shed some light on how I developed myself through this time of living in Australia. So that I'm going to start in the middle of page 19 and kind of read about a page worth. So I'm going to go from page 19 to 20. So at this point, I was in the airport in Brisbane on my way to Fiji, and then from Fiji, I was going back to America. So this is like the end of my journey in Australia through finding myself of, being on the beaches, meeting people, having mentors, as well as starting yoga while I was there at that time. So anyways, upon departure to Fiji, I sat at my gate in the Brisbane airport, head held in hands with tears streaming down in between my legs, creating pools of memories. I could not stop crying. I cried as if I lost my whole family in a tragic car accident. People stared at me as if I was insane. Was I insane? I could not express my feelings in words, only in tears. My emotions are jumbled because 1 year ago I was slugging down half a bottle of vodka, bonging beers, shoving pizza in my face, and having late-night crying fests on why my boyfriend didn't love me. During this journey, I tried to process and express a different form of love that did not come from a romantic relationship. At this point, I abstained from sex for 1.5 years, and I felt ahead of my time, mature for my age, and I could not relate to guys of my age. Between the ages of 18 and 19, I encountered every male's tricks of the trade. The mind games that men played, whether for play or just to pursue sex, affected my psychology. It made me feel cheap, as if I were a soulless individual. I struggled in the dating world. Each and every male somehow insulted my intelligence with their pursuit to get into my pants. I became exhausted. First, males my age not only expressed themselves while high, drunk, or on pills, Second, I discovered I let guys control my happiness and my state of mind, and that was no longer acceptable in my life. I discovered love outside of drinking and felt complete without a partner. Although my eyes scanned every beautiful Australian male body, I refrained from sex to heal my fragile mind. I struggled at times because I wanted a deep and meaningful relationship, but my soul drank the sweeter juices of life: sun, sand, sea, honesty, and me. Australia and the people I met along the way showed me Australia and the people I met along the way showed me this other life of purity. Sat in the airport, I wrote one last journal entry prior to departing to Fiji. I pulled my journal out of my bag, and with a deep breath, I began to write. Soaking my journal with tears, I wrote one last word of thanks to this country for transforming my life. So I'll just read my journal entry here. 150 days are gone. At least this is how many days I spent in Australia. My whole trip lasted 6 months, including Hawaii and Fiji. Shit, 6 months gone. That flew by fast. I can remember the day I arrived in Australia on my birthday with 90 other Americans. So the last few days have been really rough and emotional. I am a pure wreck right now. The tears cannot stop. This has been one hell of a trip, but I think it affected me more than anyone here I knew. Sarah, Steve, Cassie, and Kathy are all beautiful people. They are all truly one of a kind. It was so hard to say goodbye to Sarah. I can't stop crying when I think about her. I don't think she realizes how much she and Steve changed my outlook in life. Gosh, everyone is staring at me in the airport right now because tears are flowing like a water fountain from my eyes. Anyways, Sarah is truly a sister from halfway around the world. She brought out so much good in me. I grew so much because of her. I'm a whole new person now. Although we didn't hang out a ton, we clicked, and we were happy to have spent the time we had available with one another. Our interests are so much alike, from clothes to food to our looks, such as our big brown eyes. Sarah bought me a goodbye gift. She gave me a pair of bohemian harem pants that we both oogled over one day while window shopping. These pants will forever remind me of this place and her. It brought me to see the good in people and realize that not everybody out there is out to get me. If only I could have gotten a job at the Crepe Cafe, I could have stayed until my visa ran out. God, this trip was amazing. I guess I have to look on the bright side of things. I had an amazing 6 months. I met beautiful people. I made new friends. I grew up. I traveled. I danced. I partied and had the time of my life. I can always move back to Australia. Somewhere, somehow, I am determined to return back to this place. Plus, I'll have people to visit all over the world. Thank God I didn't meet a bloke out here. That would have been really more devastating. Well, I am off to Fiji shortly. I need to calm down and put a straight face on. It's as if my soul is being ripped away from its home. I guess that little passage I just wanted to share because I think, if you want change in your life, you have to make a change. Not everybody could just pack a bag and move abroad and things like that. Like, it's a great thing that a lot of millennials are able to do now because we have the resources to do it. But maybe it's getting a counselor. Maybe it's cutting back on alcohol or cutting alcohol out completely. If you're a sugar addict, maybe you have to cut out soda for a while. There's all these different things and layers that you have to start cutting out that do go in the context of who you're hanging out with, who, like, your interpersonal relationships. Story that I was sharing, I had a boyfriend my freshman year in college. I was a freshman, he was a senior, and I was very protected by this house that had like 7 guys that lived there. So, I was always kind of protected in some ways, but like my boyfriend, we were basically like the weekend boyfriend and girlfriend. And so from the ages of 18 to 19 in college, I did party a lot, which was pretty common for a lot of kids. They go to college and they get really drunk and stuff like that. But It was the lies and the manipulation to make me think that there was something meaningful there, and it wasn't. And that's what led to a lot of these like emotional crying fests while like drinking your problems away. And so, this comes to the sense of like how fragile we can be when people are not transparent, open, and honest with one another. And so, if you are going through these type of situations, or people that are no longer serving you, you have to look out for yourself first and foremost, and you can use some judgment or discernment on how to best proceed in your life. But I really think today the modern dating world is so weird. I don't believe in promiscuity. I just really believe, and I'm noticing it on comments on YouTube videos that I'm watching, like a lot of women are now starting to choose not to be intimate with a man until they're either in a committed relationship, and some are waiting until marriage again. And I think this is coming to the sense that things got so batshit crazy over the last few years, and people are like running around like rabbits, dating like 19 different people, that on a deeper soul level, people are crying and craving something more meaningful, but it's just not happening on these superficial layers of these like dating hookups and these stupid advices that certain like kind of like dating groups or manosphere groups give, which it's like, oh, if you're not hooking up with her by the third date, it's like next. And so you're kind of like, women are now in this lose-lose situation where women are being forced to like sleep with a guy quicker than they want to, and then the ones that are holding out are kind of the ones that are getting ditched and left behind because they're sticking to their moral compass and their convictions. Some of it can be because they're trying to guard their heart and protect themselves and stuff like that, and have a little bit of a higher standard, but they're not, it's like men are wanting one thing, and this is a lot of like that lower mind, reptilian brain, fear-based stuff that's activating the lower minds, not only in people but in men as well. So it's important to activate the higher mind, and that's the whole point of this passage. It's finding love from things that come from pure places, from people, friends, God, sports, whatever it is. You can find love and fulfillment through these things. You have to activate it from your higher mind. If you're looking at these things from a lower mindset standpoint, you're going to still feel loss and fear and these things of being alone and not pretty enough, and you're fat, you're too fat and things like that. So anyways, these are some thoughts that I had. If you have any situations or comments, we can all learn from each other. We'd love to hear it. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to this channel. You can help me build it. You can also support me on Patreon. If you believe in my message and my voice, you can find the links to Finding Om down below. And thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Bye!